Hi again, Risa here, back with another episode of Ask Risa. This is my weekly video series where I discuss some common wedding planning questions and concerns that you might be having. Last week, I talked all about hair and makeup, so that was kind of a lady-centric episode. So this week, I thought I would do a guy-centric episode and talk about groom and groomsmen attire and what they should wear for the wedding. So when it comes to men's attire for weddings, you basically have three main categories of what to wear. One, tuxedo, two, suit, or three, something else, something a little more casual than a suit. So you might be confused about, well, which one should I be wearing? And there are a couple of things that you can think about that will steer you in the right direction. So the first is, how formal is your wedding? Where is it taking place? There's a big difference in formality between a wedding that's being held in a hotel ballroom versus one that's being held at a garden or on the beach or something like that. So generally, we reserve tuxedos for more formal weddings. And also think about the time of day. So if it's an evening wedding, then a tuxedo is going to be more appropriate. But if it's a morning or early afternoon wedding, a tuxedo is going to look out of place because that's really more of a formal evening wear type of a thing. So those two things should be your guideline, your venue and your time of day. And then think about your needs and your style. Maybe even if you're having a formal evening wedding, maybe you still don't want to wear a tuxedo because you just feel it feels too constrictive, and maybe you want to wear a suit anyway. Totally fine. If you're having a beach wedding, you might want to just be a little bit more casual. I've seen couples do like a linen pant and linen shirt combination. You could do like trousers with a navy blue blazer and have that really like New England seaside country club feel type of a thing. Or you could do, if it's going to be really hot and you're going to be outside in the summer and everything, you could lose the jacket and you can either do, suit pants with a vest or suspenders, with the tie still and everything. But without the jacket, you've taken away the heaviest, hottest part of the overall outfit. So that's definitely something to think about. How hot is it going to be when you get married, and will you be inside or outside? Because that makes a difference. So once you think about the style of suit you want to wear, then you have to think about the accessories that go with it. So first of all, ties. It used to be that a bow tie was pretty much just standard with a tuxedo, but more and more tuxedos these days are coming with long silk neckties. So you kind of have to decide, do you like the bow tie look or do you want to go with more of a long necktie? And you can do either one with a suit as well. You might not be used to wearing bow ties. Maybe you're not sure you can pull it off, but you can go into some of these shops like Men's Warehouse or whatever, and try on a couple things and see what you think. Ties these days, you can get custom made ties super easily. There's a bunch of places like Etsy has a million shops to have handmade ties, and you can get them in any color. You get different patterns. You can do stripes or polka dots or anything. You can do floral prints. You can find a tie that will go with whatever color scheme you and your fiance are thinking of for your wedding. And it's great because you can do complementary ties for the groomsmen, but they don't have to be exactly the same. The groom should always be offset somehow. Either his vest should be a different color, or his tie should be a different color, or if it's like a floral pattern, his pattern should be slightly different from the rest of the groomsmen. Just something to show off that he's the groom, he's the guy. If there are two grooms, then you can either have them be totally matching each other, or they can just complement each other, yet still both be different from all of the male attendants, all of the groomsmen. But one thing I want to point out about two grooms is that if you're both wearing the same color suit, it can be difficult in photos with the two of you standing side by side to differentiate the line between where one person ends and the next person begins. So if you think about like a bride and groom, the bride's wearing white or some sort of light colored dress, and the groom's usually wearing something dark or at least darker. And it's really easy to tell the difference between their two outfits. But if you have two grooms and they're both wearing black tuxedos and they are standing right next to each other, those black tuxedos are going to meld into one large tuxedo, basically. So if you do have two grooms, you might want to consider one of you wearing a lighter colored something, suit, tuxedo, whatever, and the other one wearing a darker colored one, and it's going to help offset you from each other. Something to think about. If you have female attendants on the groom side, whether it's two grooms or just one groom, but somebody has female attendants, then they can either wear dresses. They don't have to match bridesmaids. If there aren't bridesmaids, they can do a complimentary dress or the same dresses, that's fine too. Or they can wear some sort of pantsuit, or I have seen groomswomen wear really cute like dressy, flowy rompers. So their pants, they kind of look like a dress up top, but they're pants and they're made of like chiffon and they're just really loose and flowy and they look fantastic. And the wedding that I did had both groomsmen and groomswomen and they looked perfect together. It was such a nice look. So that's something to think of as well. Further into accessories is cufflinks. Figure out whether you need cufflinks or not. So if you're wearing a tuxedo, the shirt that goes with the tuxedo is like 99.9% likely to have French cuffs. I brought a few props from my husband's closet. So a French cuff shirt looks like this, where the two halves of the cuff meet and you have a cuff link that holds it together and it forms this little V type of a thing along the sleeve. This is fancier and more formal than a barrel cuff, which is the more traditional. It's just the buttons and it forms, just a barrel. So you can see the difference between these two styles. So with a suit, you can wear either one. With a tuxedo, you're going to end up wearing a French cuff with cufflinks. And also with tuxedos, you usually have button covers that slide over the plastic buttons in your shirt and cover them up. So you usually can get matching cufflinks and button covers. And if you rent your tux, those things will come with the tux. Like that's all part of the package. So you don't have to think about it. But if you're buying a tux or if you want to do French cuff with a suit, then just think about whether you want cufflinks or silk knots, which is a cufflink is made of metal. A silk knot is basically a knotted ball, and it's a ball on either end, one side on either side of the sleeve cuff here, and it just feeds through the middle. And so you can get those in all kinds of different colors too to match your color scheme. Also, pocket squares. This is something, if you don't know, it's just a square of fabric and it gets folded up and it gets tucked into the breast pocket of the jacket. So sometimes we do them so that there's like a triangle sticking up from the pocket. Sometimes it can be just a rectangle of fabric. We can get fancy and do like multiple peaks, so it kind of looks like a mountaintop. There's a million different ways to fold a pocket square. But that's another way to bring the color into your outfit. Usually we do something like bow tie, vest, pocket square all match and complement each other. Again, the groom should be a little bit different. If your wedding colors are red and gold, maybe the groomsmen are wearing red, the groom's wearing gold, or vice versa. Flip it around. And you can have, if you're doing like a floral tie, you can get a pocket square with the same fabric so that the tie and the pocket square match each other. And then lastly, don't forget about shoes. So if you're wearing a tuxedo, you're going to be wearing shiny tuxedo shoes. They are the most formal of all men's footwear. But if you're wearing a suit, then the color of the suit kind of dictates the color of your shoes. So if you're wearing a black or a charcoal, which is a super dark gray suit, then you're going to want black shoes. But if you're wearing a navy suit, you can do either black shoes or you can do cordovan, which is like a really rich brown burgundy type color, like a deep, rich brown. Looks really nice with navy blue. If you have a lighter blue suit or like a light gray or a mid gray, then you'll want to go with a lighter brown shoe. And when you're thinking about all this, if you're renting a tuxedo, you can rent shoes at the same time. If you're renting a suit, you're probably going to want your own shoes. So you have to think about what colors you have, what color suit you're getting. And there's lots of places where you can buy or rent really nice suits. And there's a blog post that goes along with this video, which will have links. And I'll try to put links in the comments down below. The three places I recommend the most are Men's Warehouse, which everybody knows about. They're everywhere. The Black Tux, which despite their name, they do suits and tuxes. And then there's a place called J. Hilburn, and they will do actual like made to measure suits for you, but at reasonable prices. So if you're looking to buy a nice quality suit that is going to last you for a while, something like J. Hilburn is the way to go. So those are my thoughts on men's attire, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments, or you can always send me an email. All my information is down below in the description for this video, and I'll be back next week. I'm going to talk about wedding dress shopping. All right, bye for now.